Recently, there's been a lot of talk in the news about Nazis in Ukraine, so I felt like we would talk about one of the more prominent groups that come up when you decide to look up Nazis in Ukraine. The group known as the Azov Battalion. I have been asked to make this video a few times, but now I feel like is the best time because I've looked into it a little bit more. So why don't we learn about this together, and we'll just kind of go with the flow. The Azov Battalion, or more recently known as the Azov Special Operations Detachment, is a right-wing extremist neo-Nazi paramilitary unit formed on May 5th, 2014. The Azov Battalion has its roots in a group of ultras, or ultra-nationalists, of FC Medalist Kharkiv named Sect 82, 82 being the year of their formation, which was allied with the FC Spartak Moscow Ultras till September 2013. During the 2014 Ukrainian crisis, when a separatist movement was active in Kharkiv, Sect 82 occupied the Kharkiv Oblast Regional Administration building in Kharkiv and served as a local self-defense force. Later, a company of Special Tasks Patrol Police called the Eastern Corps was formed on the basis of Sect 82. In April 2014, Arsen Avakov, Minister of Internal Affairs, authorized the creation of a new paramilitary force known as the Azov Battalion. Many members of the political party known as the Patriot of Ukraine joined this battalion, including the ultranationalist Dmytro Korchinsky. The battalion then received training from instructors with experience in the Georgian Armed Forces. They were located initially in Mariupol and briefly relocated to Berdyansk. On August 11th, 2014, the Azov Battalion, with help from Ukrainian troops, captured Marinka and entered Donetsk, where they fought their forces. In early September of 2014, they were involved with the second Battle of Mariupol, and because of their results went from being a battalion to a regiment that was enrolled in the National Guard of Ukraine November 11th, 2014. In March 2015, the Interior Minister Arsen Avakov announced that the Azov Regiment would be receiving training from the U.S. military under Operation Fearless Guardian. However, an amendment was passed blocking aid to the battalion because of its neo-Nazi background. In June 2015, the Canadian Defence Minister declared that Canadian forces would not provide training or support to Azov Battalion for the same reason. In November that same year, the amendment was removed because of pressure from the Pentagon, however. In August 2015, Ukraine pulled all volunteer battalions, which includes the Azov Regiment, out of battle and to a base in Ursov. Azov then started summer camps for children and teenagers for combat training and Ukrainian nationalism lectures. Azov published Later, Azov published a media release on its website on November 20th, 2017, that they had met with foreign delegation officers from the U.S. and Canadian Armed Forces 4 days prior. The battalion ended up with 900 volunteer soldiers in March 2015. They're also predicted to have increased their numbers slightly more since then. They also received the nickname Little Black Men due to their all-black clothing and balaclavas. Sorry, I have a hard time pronouncing that word. And as a counter to Russia's Little Green Men. Azov is now officially called Special Operations Detachment, with combat duties focused on reconnaissance, counter-reconnaissance, EOD, interdiction, and special weapons operations. The Azov Battalion's extremist views managed to attract fighters from Brazil, Italy, the UK, France, the US, Greece, Scandinavia, Spain, Slovakia, Czech Republic, and Russia, with numbers being about 50 for Russian nationals that have joined the regiment, as well as approximately 20 Croatians. In late 2016, Brazil uncovered an alleged plot to recruit far-right activists for their battalion. Members of the American neo-Nazi terrorist group Atomwaffen Division have also joined the Azov Battalion. According to the Minsk ceasefire agreements, foreign fighters are not allowed to serve in Ukraine's military. Despite the Minsk ceasefire agreements, the regiment still has foreign fighters, including an ex-British Army serviceman, Chris Garrett, and a 33-year-old former soldier of the Greek Army and French Foreign Legion, known by the nom de guerre of the Greek, or the war nickname, right? Reports published by the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, OHCHR, have connected the Azov Battalion to war crimes such as mass looting, unlawful detention, rape, and torture. The mass looting of civilian homes was documented, as well as targeting of civilian areas between September 2014 and February 2015. Another OHCHR report documented an instance of rape and torture, writing a man with a disability was subject to cruel treatment, rape, and other forms of sexual violence by 8 to 10 members of the Azov and Donbass, which is another Ukrainian battalions in August-September 2014. A report from January 2015 stated that a Donetsk Republic supporter was detained and tortured with electricity and waterboarding, which resulted in his confessing to spying for pro-Russian militants. The Azov Battalion is a far-right militia with connection to neo-Nazism. Members have been wearing neo-Nazi SS symbols and regalia while expressing neo-Nazi views. Their insignia features the Wolf's Angel, which is... Sorry, I have it here somewhere. This is their insignia here. So this part here is the Wolf's Angel. So when we go over to, I believe it's this one, you can see that it's basically just flipped over. It's just flipped over from what it was for the Nazis. And they also have what's known as the Black Sun, which is also right here in the back. Both of them neo-Nazi symbols. But I digress. Features the Wolf's Angel and the Black Sun, which I showed you guys just now. Both neo-Nazi symbols. Instances with Azov fighters wearing helmets with swastikas in the SS ruins of Hitler's elite corps were spotted in 2014. In 2015, Marcin Ogdowski, a Polish war correspondent, gained access to one of Azov's bases located in the former holiday resort Majak. Azov fighters showed to him Nazi tattoos as well as Nazi emblems on their uniforms. Azov's founding member, Andrei Beletsky, I will show you him right now. That is this gentleman here, and he's also in this one here. That it would be him here. Leader of the neo-Nazi Social National Assembly, or SNA, made statements about a historic mission to lead the white races of the world to a final crusade for their survival, a crusade against the Semite-led Untermenschen, or inferior people in English. Political scientist Ivan Kachanovsky has compared the group's ideology to that of the Patriots of Ukraine, saying the SNA/the PU, Patriots of Ukraine, advocate a neo-Nazi ideology along with ultranationalism and racism. The same applies to members of the Azov Battalion and many football ultras and other who serve in this formation. Some of the group's members are neo-Nazis, white supremacists, and avow anti-Semites. And numerous swastika tattoos of different members and their tendency to go into battle with swastikas or SS insignias drawn on their helmets make it very difficult for other members of the group to plausibly deny any neo-Nazi affiliations. A spokesman for the unit has said that only 10 to 20% of its recruits are neo-Nazis, with one commander attributing neo-Nazi ideology to misguided youth. Members of the unit have stated that the inverted Wolf's Angel, rather than connected to Nazism, represents the Ukrainian words for United Nation or national idea. In 2018, the U.S. House of Representatives also passed a provision blocking any training of Azov members by American forces again, citing its neo-Nazi connections. Despite accusations that the group is anti-Semitic, some members of the Jewish community in Ukraine support and serve in the Azov Battalion. One of its most prominent members is Nathan Kazan, leader of the Jewish Hundreds during the 2013 Euromaidan protests in Kyiv. In an interview with Andriy Beletsky, explained that he regards Israel and Japan as role models for the development of Ukraine. Most soldiers of Azov are followers of a Ukrainian nationalist type of Radonovry, Slavic native faith, wherefrom they derive some of their symbolisms, such as the variation of the swastika symbol, the kolovrat. They have also established Rodnover shrines for their religious rites, including one in Mariupol dedicated to Puran. In 2022, when the Russians invaded Ukraine, the Azov Battalion released a video of a soldier dipping bullets into pig fat since they were about to fight with the Muslim Chechen soldiers that were on their way. Due to backlash from the video, it was removed. But the best part about the internet is nothing is ever truly gone. So with that being said, why don't we take a look at the video for ourselves? The source is from the Ukrainian National Guard. This was the Twitter video that was released before it was removed. So, let's watch. I might as well turn on my headphones. Oh, seems to have stopped my video. There we go.
Шановні друзі мусульмани, до раю в нашій країні вас не пустять. Не пустять до раю. Їдьте додому, будь ласка, бо тут вам халепа буде. Дякую за увагу. До побачення.
So the interesting thing about this is I was surprised to see that they had to remove the video. Because I feel like it's strange that just because of backlash from dipping it into pig fat would be enough to get them to remove the video, considering they were enemies coming to essentially cause conflict, right? You would have thought they would have kept that video up, but I guess it was just because it basically just turned them Islamophobic, right? So maybe they just figured it was worse to have the press be that way. So I found that very interesting. But that is essentially the summary of the Azov Battalion. I probably have missed some things, but this is a pretty big hole to dive into, so I felt like I would make this, and if anything else comes up from this entire endeavor, I would go back and make some more videos. But for now, that is a pretty good summary of, well, the neo-Nazis in Ukraine. And it's weird because all it really does is make it so that Putin has more things to justify himself with. And I really feel for the citizens that are losing their lives. And I feel for that on both sides. Because it's not the citizens' fault that any of this is happening. And I feel bad for the people. I really do. So, I don't know what to take away from this other than, after diving into this, just seeing how, basically how fucked up this entire regiment is. But, yeah, I hope you guys learned something. I know I sure did. And I'll see you guys next time. Love you guys. Bye.